Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Palm Springs. Palm Springs is a 2020 Hulu original that first premiered at Sundance earlier this year. Directed by Max Barbacow, this film follows the story of two people who end up in an infinite time loop who learn to enjoy life, enjoy each other as they try to find a solution to get on with their lives. All in all, basically a rom-com Groundhog's Day, if you will. Now, heading into this film, I didn't watch any trailers. I had just heard really positive buzz from Sundance, from my friends who attended Sundance. They all loved this movie, gave it praise, thought it was one of the best coming out of the festival. So, naturally, I was intrigued. However, you all know me and the romance genre, be it comedy or drama. Me and romance is, it's a rocky road there. But ultimately, I actually quite enjoyed the film overall. So, let's go ahead and get into the positives. Well, I first want to start off with Andy Samberg and Kristen Melody, who are our two leads in this film. They are wonderful. I think they both give really strong performances. Particularly Kristen Melody, for me, stole the entire film. I thought she was fantastic, really funny, really embodied her character. It felt like such a natural portrayal of this person. Andy Samberg was also really strong as well. I will say there were a couple moments maybe that it was pushing his dramatic acting chops, but he definitely lived up to the challenge. But moreover, they had wonderful chemistry together. Whenever you're doing any sort of romantic plot, that is a pretty integral part to the story. And these two had wonderful on screen chemistry. They were really fun together, quite fun. You bought their budding relationship, their budding romance as we moved throughout the film. Also, really liked J.K. Simmons. He has a very small role in this film, but he's a whole lot of fun, and his character adds a really lively dynamic. For me, someone who's not so into rom-coms particularly, I enjoyed the film because it wasn't a saccharine romantic comedy. There's a lot of dark jokes. There is a lot of sarcastic, kind of dry humor going on throughout. We focus on two people who have a lot of problems that they need to work through individually, and that made for a much more interesting story than your generic romantic comedy style pairing. Plus, you pair that with the Groundhog's Day formula, and it created some sort of new type of film in this vein. We've had horror with Happy Death Day, we've had sci fi with Edge of Tomorrow slash Live Die Repeat. Of course, we had a pretty standard straight up comedy with Groundhog's Day, and now we're getting a more romantic feel of it. It worked well. It spiced up the rom com formula a little bit and really provided for some fun gags. Also really enjoy the trial and error of figuring out how to escape this time loop, particularly the final thing that is attempted. I loved how we got there. It was very much not cliched, and I appreciated that so much. But what didn't work so well when it came to Palm Springs? Well, it is pretty standard formula across the board. It's pretty standard formula for Groundhog's Day style films, and it's pretty standard formula for rom-coms. Now, there are a couple of exceptions for both. However, it follows the exact up down back up trajectory you anticipate from a romantic comedy. Straight up goes through the exact same wavelengths that they all do. And of course, with the Groundhog's Day formula, it's always going to be the same. For the most part, it worked really well, but there was an incident near the beginning of the third act of the film where that repetition started to wear on me just a bit. But thankfully, it's a pretty short film. It's just like right at that hour and a half mark, and that's the perfect length for this movie. I also think we tie things up really nicely for a film that was trying to give off the essence of like messiness, like humans being messy, relationships being messy, our characters being messy. We end up in just such a perfect little finale that I was a little bit disappointed we didn't go somewhere with that and do something different. I also don't really love where we end off with the sister who's getting married. I think it's a very questionable I think maybe a lot of people will agree with the decision that was made. I didn't. So that leaves questionable area, I guess. And if there's a sequel, I would really like to see the follow up to what we left unfinished there. But it kind of made me feel gross. Also, special effects weren't great. They are only really involved a couple of times. There's a bit with dinosaurs. The very beginning of the film looks insane, but it doesn't really deter from the film. It was just like, oh, there are special effects on my screen. That don't look so wonderful, but easy to overlook. A very small nitpick. Overall, I do think Palm Springs was a really enjoyable, easy breezy type of watch. A perfect film to turn on Hulu and just have a good time with. There are quite a few laughs, and if you enjoy romantic comedies and don't mind a little bit of raunch with it, I think you're really going to love Palm Springs. And make sure you watch through the credits because there is a mid-credit scene that is very interesting and makes you really start to think. So definitely watch the credits to catch that extra. So it's definitely worth checking out. It's already part of your Hulu subscription if you have one, and I think pretty much everyone is going to have a good time with it. So that was my review of Palm Springs. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on my latest videos. Also, make sure to join in on the discussion. Are you excited to watch Palm Springs? Have you even heard of it? Or have you seen it? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!